Good morning and welcome to Trinity Lutheran Christian School and Trinity Lutheran Church. We're so happy that you are with us today and hope that you are having a terrific Tuesday. Our devotion for today is entitled We Are One. And it kind of takes me back to my early days. It comes from Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. As a kid, my dad used to take me to farm auctions, and many Saturdays were spent doing that. In northern Wisconsin, I guess that was a form of entertainment in a farming community and by a farmer like my father. So I want to tell you a story about a young man named David at this point in a farming community, and it's a true story, and it's one of the things that I love most about farming communities, and I love about the state of Wisconsin. You know, it's a small farming community in northern Wisconsin, and this was well before the days of internet, but news travels fast. Whether it's Friday evenings in the barber shop or grocery stores when families would come in to shop in the small communities. Several years after the bank had sold the farm that David's family had owned for decades, he learned that the property was going to be available for sale by the bank. After much saving and sacrifice, David arrived at the auction to join a crowd of about 200 farmers to see what the property would bring and who would end up buying it, because it had about 200 acres with about 120 of the acres that were under plow, meaning that those were fields for crops to support the food that was needed for the cows. Would David's meager bid be enough? Well, when they opened up the bidding, David put his best in his only bid up front. And he was sitting there wondering, is it going to be enough? And he was praying that it might. People were taking deep breaths as the auctioneer was calling for higher bids, but the crowd remained silent until they heard the slam of the gavel. The rest of the farmers in the community had stepped aside so David could repurchase the family farm. The farmers placed the needs of David and his family above their own financial advancement. And that's what brings us to Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The story of the farmer's sacrificial kindness demonstrates the way that the Apostle Paul urges all of us each and every day to treat those around us by putting their needs first. I'm reminded of a sign that was on the desk of Tom Landry, one of my favorite professional football coaches, that said, I am third. And when he said, I am third, he looked God, others, and self. Paul warns us to not conform to the pattern of this world. You know, many of us are frustrated with the baseball strike right now, or as they like to call it, work stoppage. Perhaps the owners, who are multi-millionaires, and the players, who are millionaires, could take a look at everyone else around them and see how this impacts them and how they have fallen into the pattern of the world rather than fixing their eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. And don't conform to the pattern of the world, but practice sacrificial giving to those around you. Today, the challenge: find someone who you can meet their needs by sacrificing your own. Have a blessed day today in the Lord.